Hi, yeah. So this is going to be about 30 minutes of yoga. Going to be quite a nice all-round class. Start in a seated position. Could be anything you want, whatever's comfortable for you. Straighten your legs out, take the legs out nice and wide, cross your legs, do a full lotus pose if that's your thing. But whatever you do, try to find a nice upright spine, taking a couple of just initial grounding breaths into the body. So you can close your eyes or fix your gaze down at the floor. Check in with your breath. As you breathe in, feel the breath enter through the nostrils, ideally through the nostrils. Breathe down deep into your tummy, allow your tummy to push out, your ribs to expand. As you release that breath again out through the nostrils, and try to release any tension in your shoulders and your hips and your knees and your head and anywhere you might find there's tension. So just take a few of these grounding breaths, feel the pressure of the sit bones on the floor, and find that sense of release. And it's a great process to steady the mind, to get the mind engaged with how you feel in your body physically and get your mind out of your head, so to speak. So try to keep your focus internally within. You can use your breath to draw your mind internally within yourself. And this doesn't necessarily mean just in the grounding process. This is throughout your practice. So take a few grounding breaths here. And it gives you a chance to connect with the feelings in your body, how you feel, if you're carrying any tension, if you're quite achy, quite stiff, and wherever you find any tension or sensitivity, just check in there and be compassionate with yourself. Don't force yourself through any posture. Take it nice and easy. Take responsibility for yourself. Okay. So normally I'd spend a few more minutes here grounding, but I want to get straight into it. By all means, if you want to linger here, that's fine. Press pause, take a few breaths. Otherwise, just straighten the legs out wherever you are here. Rest your hands on your knees. Feel the connection of your sit bones on the ground. Take some circular movements here with your upper body as you roll around, grounding through each sit bone, getting the core engaged here, trying to sweep the shoulders around. And then you've done that a few times, come around the other way. A little bit of movement. And we continue. So come to an upright position, breath in, lift the arms up nice and high. Breath out, side bend to the right. So bringing that left arm over, not too far. Breath in, lift the arms up, and then a side bend to your left. Doing this a couple of times, reaching up with the fingers with the breath in, go for height. And as you come down, land that hand down, bring the arms over. Stretch it through the side of the body. Nice and gentle at first. Breath in, lift the hands up. Little rotation to your right, dropping your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind, twisting through your spine. And a breath in, lift up. And a rotation to the left. Breath in, lift up. One more to the right. And breath in, lift up. One more to the left. Seated cat-cows now. So bring your hands so they're behind your ears with the breath in, elbows back, lift the chest forwards, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, look up. And a breath out, pull your tummy button in, bring your elbows towards each other and round your back. It's a nice movement with the breath. You can feel the spine moving throughout the course of the breath in and the breath out. Pulling your tummy button in as you slouch around your shoulders. Breath in, lift up, opening through the front of the body here. And a breath out, rounding your shoulders. One more of those. Good. Take the hands out nice and wide. Come all the way down onto the mat into a tabletop position. And tucking the toes in. And we're going to sit back into child with the toes tucked in, stretching out through the upper body here. And then come upwards, draw the hands so the arms are just slightly further forward, the shoulders, tuck the toes in, push the knees away, send the hips high, and then send the heels down. Let your head drop between your shoulders, bend through the knees here, pedaling out through the legs. Feel that tightness, stickiness in the back of the calves, maybe. Just taking a few moments here, just to loosen off, stretch. Allowing the chest to come towards the floor, head towards the floor, looking back at your ankles. Go nice and steady here, don't force it. Just go with what the body's got when you find that sense of release. And lifting your toes, or lifting your heels up onto your toes. Bend your knees a little bit, push into your toe knuckles.
And hold here, feeling that sense of tension in your toe knuckles. Quite nice, quite like this. Let's send your heels down. Inhale through the plank. Bringing your shoulders forwards on top of your wrists, leveling out the body, lowering the hips down. Nice and flat through the body here. Pulling the belly button in, looking down at the floor. Feeling where the pressure points is. Feeling what's just switched on, just working now, activated. And knees. Tops of the feet on the mat, chest and chin to the floor. Pull forwards or pull backwards on your hands as the chest goes forwards and lift up into a cobra pose. Draw the shoulders back, look down at the floor, taking a couple of breaths here. And breathe out to the floor. Breath in up onto your knees and breathe out back onto your heels as you stretch through the back. And the slow breath in as you rise up onto your knees, inhaling the hands up nice and high. Exhale the hands down. Inhale the hands up nice and high, and then exhale, float the hands down to the floor again as they land. Tuck your toes in and push your knees away, downward. Look up between the hands, bend the knees on your toes, slowly walk to the top of the mat. So a dangling posture here. So bending the knees, letting the head and shoulders be heavy, letting the arms swing from side to side. Pull your tummy button in. You're going to try and drive the body upright, elevate the body upward to a standing position through the core. So pull the tummy button in, push into the mat with your feet as your quads engage, and slowly drive up to an upright position. Shoulders come back, and then inhale, lift the hands up nice and high. Exhale, bend the knees, float the hands down onto your shins, your ankles. With a breath in, lift your chest, straighten your legs, lift your back up, nice and flat through the back here. Look forwards, that really flattens the back out. And lean onto the fronts of the feet, find some tension onto the backs of the legs. If you lean backwards, you tend to sort of compromise a little bit. So leaning forwards, bringing the heels quite light and the weight on the front of the feet lifts the sit bone up. Feel that tension in the back of the hamstrings. Okay, bend the knees, hands to the floor. Okay, walking the feet back to a plank position, all the way back to the back of the mat. And inhale as you bring your shoulders on top of your wrists, looking down at the floor. We're going to drop the right knee to the floor, round ground to the left heel down. Weight goes into the right hand, right knee. Inhale the left hand up. And then forwards, find that balance here if it's there. Stay with your foot grounded, but if you can, lift, float your left foot off of the mat. Maybe come for a balance here. Doesn't matter if it doesn't work for you. It's just really finding where you are in your yoga and your balance, and it changes from day to day. Look down at the floor, dropping the left hand, dropping the left knee to the floor, then straighten out the right leg, tuck the right toes in, round down through the right heel, and then inhaling that right hand up, back, and then forwards. Find that stretch here, and stay here if that's enough for you. Or again, if you've got that stability through the grounding hand, the grounding knee, maybe float that right hand, that right foot off of the mat. Keeping the breath nice and steady and just checking, seeing how it compares from one side to the other. Look down at the floor, drop the right hand down, and then drop the right foot down. In tabletop now, tuck the toes in, lift into downward dog. Look up between the hands, bend the knees on your toes, walk to the top of the mat, and then drop the hips down with the knees hip width apart. Pull the tummy button in, sweep the hands forwards into chair pose. So dropping the butts down, if you like, pulling back on the knees. Feel that tension in your quads and in your glutes. Looking up between the hands. Taking a few breaths here. We start at this stage to generate some real heat in the body by holding in chair pose a little bit longer. Okay, so keeping the breath nice and steady, concentrating on your breath, not the tensions in your body, and then that will allow you to build your stamina, your endurance in these postures. So you just simply follow the breath. Okay, breath in here. Exhale the hands to the floor, tension out your quads. Walk the feet to the back of the mat. Inhale through to a plank pose. Leveling out the core. Leveling out the back, engaging the core. Breath in, exhale onto your knees, chest, chin, tops of the feet on the mat. Pull back on the palms of the hands, feel the chest forwards and away from the floor. Into cobra, drawing the shoulders back, maybe a little bit more pressure into the mat with the arms, pushing down into the palms of the hands. Your front of the pelvis might lift off the mat. If you want to take an upward dog here, bring your knees off the mat as well, pushing down into the tops of the feet. Keep your tummy button pulled in a little bit. This will create a little bit of support for your lumbar spine. So you're not hinging in the lower back. You want really good, firm control of these postures, these particular postures, so you don't pinch or make your lower back uncomfortable. Okay, drop your knees to the floor wherever you are, chest and chin to the floor. Push up onto your knees and then exhale back onto your heels into a child pose. Keeping the hands grounded, then drawing the sit bones backwards. You feel that length through the shoulders and let the forehead come towards the floor. And then come up onto your knees. Step your right foot forward between the hands, inching the left knee backwards a little bit. Steady yourself on your right knee. Pull your tummy button in here. Lift the hands up into a crescent moon. And on the exhale, lean or bend through that front knee as you take the hips forwards, stretching through your hip flexor, looking forwards, and breathe. Reaching up on the inhales with the fingertips, so getting some length through your shoulders, through your arms, and then keeping that tummy button pulled in. Can go a little bit deeper on the exhale if you wish to find some tension in your hip flexor, which is the muscle on the inside of your left hip that's getting the stretch. Comes all the way from the top of the femur through the pelvis and up into the lumbar spine. So it's important to keep our tummy button pulled in. So the pelvis is quite steady here, quite stable. Pelvis doesn't rock backwards a little bit and pinch through the lumbar spine. So it's really pulling the core in as best you can. Okay, breath in here. Then float the hands down either side of that front foot on the exhale. We're going to slowly take the hips backwards as we lengthen through the right leg into half split. So taking the back of the right knee towards the floor. As you ground that right heel, pull the toes back. This will lengthen the calf muscle. Using your fingertips for stability here, keeping that heel grounded and pulling backwards. And come forwards, tuck in your left toes in. Lift your left knee off of the mat. And then rotate your left heel down. We're going to slowly push into the front foot, come to an upright position. Take the arms up nice and high, either side of your head, looking forwards. And then draw the arms down so the elbows come back shoulder height, palms face in, looking straight ahead. Push into the back edge of your left foot and your right knee points forward over your right toes, dropping the pelvis. Try not to lean forwards here, warrior one pose. Take a couple of breaths here, not going to stay here too long. The transition to warrior two. So with the next breath in, lift the hands up. Turn into the left slightly. Keep your feet grounded where they are and then float the arms down, palms down, shoulder height, reaching as far apart with the fingertips as you can as you drop into the hips, looking straight forwards over the middle finger of your right hand. And enjoy this posture. If you want, you can pull your feet towards each other. So try to grip onto the mat and pull the feet in. This will activate your adductors, your groin. You feel really strong here. It's an intense posture. Still looking forwards over the middle finger of your right hand, but feeling strong in your lower body. Keeping your tummy button pulled in, keeping the tailbone under the crown of the head. Okay, release the lower body. And then we're going to straighten out through that front leg, pivot on our heels, feet 45 degrees, inhale the hands up into 5-point, draw the solar plexus up into the ribs, breath in here, and then exhale, bending the knees, drawing the arms out, pushing the palms away into horse pose, pulling the arms backwards so you get that nice length stretch through the front of the chest. Okay, inhale up into 5-point and then pivot on your heels to take warrior two to the other direction. So bending through your right knee, dropping the hips, tailbone under the crown of the head, pushing to the back edge of that right foot. Float the arms down, palms down, reaching the fingers as far apart as they can. And then establish the alignment, the posture, look over the middle finger of your left hand. Take in the breath nice and slow. Remember, focusing on the breath. If you feel intense tension and stress, then think about the breath. Pulling the feet inwards if you want to try that as an option here. Activating your groin, your adductors, your hip flexors. Pretty much most of the muscles around the hips. Great for building strength. Okay, stay looking forwards. Drop the hands down. Keep the feet where they are, and then inhale the arms up into a warrior one again on this side. So your left knee points over your toes, push into the back edge of that right foot. Inhale here. Lifting your back heel up, float the hands all the way down to low lunge, either side of that left foot. Dropping your right knee to the floor, inching your right knee backwards, and then pushing into your left knee as you come upright. Pull your belly button in here, so crescent moon on this side. You can have the top of the foot on the floor, you can have your toes tucked in, but find that stability as you draw your core in. Inhale the hands up either side of the head. First exhale is a sort of a lean forwards, but keeping the tailbone of the crown of the head nice and upright through the body here. And breathe, look straight ahead, look up, look down. Feeling the tension in your body and focusing on the breath. Breath in, exhale the hands down to the floor. Tuck the toes in, lift the right knee off of the mat, and they're going to step to the top of the mat. Let the arms dangle, pull the belly button in, and roll to an upright position. Bit of heat in the body now, lots of blood in the muscles, hands on your hips, okay? Grounding through your right foot, slide the left leg up, take the ankle on top of the thigh, and take the knee out to the side as you open the hip. Bring your palms onto your chest. And if you've got the balance here, maybe bend through that standing leg to find pigeon here, soften your shoulders, keeping your head directly looking forwards and working out the balance. It's a nice hip opener, but also it's really working the kinetic chain of the standing leg, the ankles, the knee, the hips. Feel the grounded through the sole of your foot, keeping your focus wherever you are. You can see as soon as you take your focus off a point on the floor in front of you, it can affect the posture. Okay, slowly come out of that as you straighten through that standing leg, float the hand down. Inhale the hands up, nice and high, tall mountain. Come up onto your toes, stretch out through the backs of the legs here, and then exhale the heels down, hands down to the floor. And then lean into your left foot as you slide that right foot up onto the thigh, onto the knee, take the hip out, and then bend it through that standing leg. Keep your focus on the floor and breathe steadily, softly as you process all of the sensations in your body. Don't worry about the balance. Don't think about the balance. Just think about how you feel, the tensions in your body, and the gentle movements as the body corrects, adjusts, modifies, compensates, soften the shoulders. Okay, then slowly straighten out through that standing leg. Inhale the hands up, standing staff. Exhale the hands down, hands onto your hips. Step your feet a little bit wider apart. Bring your hands again onto your chest and slowly sink the hips down, moving your feet around to a comfortable squat position here. So dropping the hips into compression, pulling the tummy button in as you rotate the pelvis backwards. This gives you a little bit of strength in your lower body. Hands again soft through the shoulders. Holding most of these postures for around about 5 breaths, about 30 seconds, which is optimum for any form of posture from a strength and conditioning point of view and a flexibility point of view. Okay, from here, we're going to take our hands behind our back. If we can, lean onto or drop back onto our fingertips, drop our bottoms down onto the floor, and then Find a boat pose as you roll back behind your sit bones, lift your legs off the mat. You can keep hold of the backs of the hamstrings if that's for you, if that's going to work for you. Or you can lower the shoulders backwards a little bit, reach forwards with the hands to counterbalance. Use your core here. So pull your tummy button in, flatten your ribs, and look forwards. Try to open through the toes, make some gaps in your toes as you look towards your feet, and hold and breathe. Crossing your ankles. Come to a seated position as you drop the feet down, lift up through the spine, breath in here, and then a gentle rotation to the right as the hand round and lift up through the spine, squeeze through the torso, squeeze through the tummy. And release, look forwards. We're going to bring our hands onto our chest and we're going to float the feet or legs up into boat. Again, you can grab hold of your legs if you prefer, but find a boat posture here. And then reach the hands forwards. Looking forwards, gap in the toes, feeling that power through your core as you find this posture. And bring your hands to your chest, cross your ankles the other way, and then see if you can make your way to a seated position, lifting up through the spine, breath in here, and then turn in the opposite direction, and then take a twist here. In this case, right hand to left knee, left hand behind to prop the spine up so you don't lean back, and squeeze through your spine as you look back over your left shoulder, using the leverage, the bind, to go a little bit deeper on your exhales when the body lets go. And turn, face the front. Okay, gonna roll forwards, come onto your knees, and take the feet to the back of the mat. And lift into a downward dog, and pedal out the legs here. Just get some movement through the knees, lowering the chest down. And then with a slow breath in, draw your whole body into a plank position as you come forwards, bring your shoulders on top of your wrists, level out through plank here, drop onto your knees, chest, chin to the floor. And we go for a locust, so take the hands down the side of the body, inhale the chest, the legs off of the mat, looking down at the floor. And feel, well, try to feel the muscles that are working here and keep the breath nice and steady. Okay, you'll find as the breath enters and leaves the body might rock forwards and backwards, and that's okay. That's the diaphragm pushing down into your abdominal cavity. Enjoy that sense of rock and roll here. Keeping the breath nice and steady. Try not to hold your breath. The breath is your life. But in actual fact, the breath is important for mobilizing some of the toxins and the waste you're creating in these postures as the muscles start to loosen up. In some cases, or develop as byproducts of metabolism. So the breath is important to keep that moving. Okay, release, hands down either side of your rib cage, push up onto your knees, sit the hips back towards your heels, stretching out through the body here, taking a few gentle breaths here. And then come all the way back onto your front again. Gonna double up on those postural postures. So tops of the feet on the mat this time, hands come behind the back, interlace the fingers and push those hands away as the chest lifts, driving the hands back down, feeling the localized effort in your spinal erector muscles now, looking down at the floor, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, really feeling the effort in this posture, this version of locust. and release. Okay, counter pose again. So push up onto your knees. Take your knees out to the edges of the mat. Sit your hips back towards your heels and let your chest, your head come towards the floor as low as it can go. And breathe down into your belly. Allow your belly to release to the floor on the breath in. And as you breathe out, sit your hips deep down towards your heels. And then come up. From this position, drop the tummy down. So you've got a little bit of a dip in your lumbar spine. Take the left hand and slide it under the right arm. We're going to get the left shoulder on the ground. So reach as far across as you can to ground down through your left shoulder. Rest the side of the head on the floor. And push into the mat with your right hand as you get a little bit of a twist through the spine here. And then a little bit of lift through that shoulder, that left shoulder, and then sliding that hand back. Take it out to the side and lift it up as high as you can. Take a big breath in here. And breath out, hand to the floor. Next breath in. You can take the right hand out to the side a little bit and slide it under and through. Thread the needle as that right shoulder grounds down, looking as far across as you reach that right hand as far across as it will go. Get the shoulder on the ground, then rest the head of the side of the head down. And then push into the mat with the left hand as you find that twist, that rotation through your spine. Ground through your knees, ground through your shoulder. Maybe turn the head and looking up towards the ceiling if you've got that range of movement. And breathe. And then slowly lifting, if you can, that right shoulder off of the mat and then drawing the hand out. Take it out all the way up. Breath in here. Exhale down. Come to the edge of your mat, drawing your knees together. Roll onto your pelvis. Come down. Spinning all the way around down onto your lower back. Hug your knees. Draw your knees into your chest. And drop your feet to the floor. Resting your left ankle on top of your right thigh, head and shoulders on the floor if that's better for you. Drawing the right foot off of the mat, wrapping your hands around the back of that thigh and drawing that thigh in. Feeling some tension in your left glute, okay? Again, head and shoulders on the floor. Draw that leg in as much as you can and breathe. As you come to the end, go a little bit deeper as the body softens towards those 5 breaths or through those 5 breaths. By pulling that thigh in a bit deeper and then lowering the right foot to the floor. Straighten out the left leg, pull the toes into the shin, reach up, grab hold of somewhere on that leg. It doesn't matter if it's bent, if you really tighten your hamstrings, wherever that leg is, head and shoulders on the floor again, draw that leg in to find some tension in the back of your hamstring, back of your thigh, and then push the back of your knee away from you and pull the toes into the shin to develop that tension, that stress, and breathe soft breaths here. Short on the inhale, nice and slow on the exhale, and as you exhale, draw the leg in a little bit closer. Try not to flex, bend the knee. Try to keep the leg as extended as you can. Try to pull the toes in as tight as you can towards the shin. And with each slow breath out, drawing the leg in, a little bit more tension each time with each breath out, and then see how you can go in this. Just feeling all the sensations around that straight leg with those nice, slow, steady yoga, releasing tension, releasing breaths out. You might even find you can scratch your forehead with your toes if you go too deep. Don't look up, I'm not doing it, I can't do that. And then slowly release that foot to the floor. Just take a moment here, head and shoulders on the floor, just to feel around your hips, your pelvis. And we go again on the other side. So lifting up your right leg, right ankle, heel on top of left thigh. For figure of 4, head and shoulders on the floor. Drawing that left foot off of the mat, wrap your hands around the thigh and draw this posture in, looking for tension anywhere in your hips, your glutes, you get to that point of tension, nice 5 releasing breaths. You know the score. So we breathe in quite shallowly and we breathe out nice and long, protracted, extended, maybe just gently sighing as we breathe by constricting the back of our throat, sending those little micro vibrations of release into our nervous system so we can soften through the connective tissue and we can allow the joints to go a little bit deeper into the posture, allowing the muscles to extend to wherever they naturally would extend to if they weren't wrapped with tight fascia, tight connective tissue, which is why we're breathing slowly to allow the nervous system to soften its grip and stretch that connective tissue. And release. Okay, drop that foot to the floor, straighten out your right leg, nice and straight. Pull the toes in, wrap your hand somewhere around that straight leg, pull it back towards you to find some initial bit of tension here. Push the back of the knee away, pull the toes in, 5 breaths here. Lower back grounded. It really is a nice way to lengthen your hamstring muscles and really start to loosen that tight connective tissue that wraps around them. Again, short on the inhale, nice and smooth, protracted, extended on the exhale. A gentle sigh as you draw the leg in with each breath out, going a little bit deeper, just playing to the edge of your range of movement. And release, dropping both feet onto the floor. Take a moment here, just allow the pelvis, the hips to soften, to release. You'll feel that sensation around your hips as you feel the joints and the muscles and the connective tissue regrouping, going back to where it goes to. And then we take one more posture, take a back bend here. So bring the heels close to the bottom. Flatten your lower back onto the floor by pulling your tummy button in. And next breath in, push into the mat with your feet as you lift your pelvis up. Look across the front of your body as you lift the pelvis off of the floor, driving up with your quads, trying to avoid the knees from going outwards. So draw the knees towards each other, not to touch, but so they're parallel, and use your inner adductors, your inner thighs. And use your lower back muscles as well as your glutes, as well as your quads here. Keep your navel pulled in to tighten up through your sacrum, through the iliac crest, through the lower back, through the lumbar spine, and stay here with the breath and breathe in softly, breathe out softly. Feel that effort needed in this posture. It's a great posture for your posture. And check it in, grounding, alignment, knees come towards each other, working through the lower back. And slowly release, keeping your navel pulled in, nice and tight through your lower back as you roll down to the floor. Pelvis lands, draw the knees up, hug your knees, squeeze and release. Take the hands around the back of the legs, little back roll. So massage through your discs, roll to seated. A comfortable seated position as we started. Something where you can lift up through the spine, something where you can rest your hands on your lap, on your knees, on the floor. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, send a wave of release across your body. Feel the grounding through the sit bones and soften through your hips, your knees. Close your eyes, fix your gaze down on the floor. Next breath in through the nostrils, down deep into the lower part of your lungs. Allow the belly to push out, ribs to open at the bottom part of your lungs. Breath in, breath out through the nostrils. Making any adjustments to feel the grounding down through the sit bones and keeping the breath soft, slow, steady. In and out through the nostrils, down deep into the lungs.
And apply a count of 4 seconds inhale, 6 seconds exhale. Continuing, keeping the breath steady, slow. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Down into your tummy area, your lower part of your lungs, where all the blood is pooling. In and out through the nostrils. Feeling the pressure of your sit bones, the legs into the ground. Feeling grounded, softening through your shoulders, your knees, your hips, your wrists. Maybe feeling tingling in your fingertips. But keeping the breath steady in and out through the nose. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. As you come to the end of the very next breath out, you can open your eyes. You can stay here if you wish. You can lie down, take some Shavasana. But I'm going to finish now. Thanks for doing that little session. If you managed to get all the way through, bit of everything, twists, forward bends, backward bends, lots of postural stuff, lots of breath awareness. Okay, there'll be some more videos coming at you over the course of the next few weeks, I'm sure. If you've got any particular things you want me to do, then drop me an email, info@richardyoga.org. I'll be more than happy to oblige, provided it's not something really weird. I think I might. Okay, stay safe. See you on the mat. And by all means, if you're in the locality of Berkshire, come and join one of my public classes. They're all right, apparently.